Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Crypto Lark. Today I have with me Synth and Jonathan from Skycoin. Guys, welcome.
What up, what up?
Hey, now, for anyone who doesn't know about Skycoin yet, just give us the short version. What's the elevator pitch for Skycoin?
So Skycoin it's a lot of things. So it's a platform. It's sort of we have a new consensus algorithm. We have a new scripting language for blockchain applications. We're building video games. We're doing pilots like a new decentralized, sort of a decentralized ISP on blockchain called Skywire, which is one of our flagship projects that's launching in a few months. We're doing video games like Kitty Cash, and now we have dozens of coins launching on our platform, like MDL coin, which is MDL.life, solarbankers.com, Spaco. I think they just rebranded to SPO. Metallicoin, which is a company that's doing using blockchain to raise money for mining development projects like silver, gold mining, lithium deposits in Mongolia and stuff like that. So we have Skycoin is a very large project. It's actually a platform. So so people ask us what Skycoin is, and it's like 30 different things. Like we have kittycash.com as one of our video games now. So we're like in the digital cat trading market now. And
I think a lot of people, kind of get scared when we say that it's such a broad platform, though, because the broader you get, you have to ask the question, can you execute? The broader you get, the harder it is to execute on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of have to frame this for the public so they understand that we aren't just literally everywhere all at once. Because if you're everywhere all at once, you're nowhere, right?
We're actually a consortium. We have 30 companies, like MDL Coin's another company. Spaco is doing our exchange infrastructure and our mobile wallet and our OTC software, but they're a completely separate company with 30 full-time developers. And then, so we're not one. It's actually like it's all over the place. It's sort of crazy, actually.
We are the platform, though. So if you just think the best analogy here is Apple, right? So if you asked Apple what they were doing, it would probably sound pretty multifaceted. It would be pretty broad, but that's because they're doing what matters. And what matters is generating the platform that anyone, anywhere can utilize to launch their own blockchain applications that are, and so we can, our ultimate goal is to fulfill Satoshi's original vision. We want to provide truly peer-to-peer cash to the masses. And in order to do that, we have to establish this platform. The thing is our technology is above and beyond absolutely anybody else in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So it's very interesting. Like right now, a lot of people are launching blockchain applications and they start getting into blockchain on Ethereum. And then they realize, like, if I have 1,000 users on my app, I need to do, 100 transactions a second. And Ethereum will only support 30 transactions a second. And then the transaction fee is $6 per transaction. So we had a power grid company, and they were in Portland, and they wanted to do a microgrid with 300,000 people on it as a pilot to show that blockchain would be viable for smart meters and for this sort of peer-to-peer energy trading. And they looked and they started on Ethereum, and then they realized, like, hey, we're going to need to do 1,000 transactions a second, and it's going to cost $6 per transaction. And they don't want to pay $6,000 an hour. And then they realize if there's a bug, that Ethereum isn't going to help them. Like they don't control the blockchain. It's not their blockchain, it's Ethereum's blockchain. So one of the big advantages of our platform is what we call own chain, which is the company gets their own blockchain and they own their blockchain. So if you're a corporation and Microsoft or IBM, you want to use blockchain, but you don't want Ethereum's blockchain. You want your own blockchain.
Yeah.
So all of these companies
all ERC20 tokens could transfer over. Everything running on the ERC20 platform could transfer over to ours. And the benefit there is they're not running on top of Ether in the same way. Instead, they are literally receiving their own blockchain. And if you look through the list of 1,500, maybe even 2,000 cryptocurrencies that are now available, maybe less than 10 have their own
blockchain. yeah, so it's very funny.
It's all running on ETH,
right? That's the underlying
right?
technology, and that's what's got to happen. And so we are the platform, and we will scale in that regard. And if you look at Apple's stock price, if you look at the stock price of absolutely anything that is a platform, it goes through the roof. So
you see there. So what's happened is we had the first generation of blockchain, and that I think was Bitcoin. So we had people sending money back and forth, and Litecoin and Doggy Coin, which is one of my favorites. and Bitcoin, and it was just like a token, and you had a community that was using this currency. Then the second generation of blockchain was what they call the smart contract platform, and that was Ethereum and people and like Qtum and people doing scripting languages. And it turns out no one in the real world actually uses smart contracts. So the marketing about Ethereum is smart contracts, but the reality is people just want to launch their token, want to do their ICOs, they want to raise money for their companies. So Ethereum really turned into something like Kickstarter. And then the third generation of blockchain is these companies are prototyping on Ethereum, but they want their own chains. So they want to have their own chain where they can experiment and where they can test their applications, and they don't want to pay the transaction fees to Ethereum. They want to have they don't want their users paying all these transaction fees to a third party, and they want to, for legal reasons, they also need to control it. So we have a lot of companies coming in now, and so we're trying to. So these people are just coming to us and they're demanding, we want this and we want this and we want this and we want this, and it's like a shopping list, and we're just like trying to get them the stuff that they're asking us for, basically.
Interesting. Now, you guys have this coin hours system. So anyone that builds on top of Skychain or Skycoin's chain, you guys they'll be have to use the coin hours as well, correct?
Yes. So what's really interesting is we wanted people to spend things. Like we want them to buy bandwidth, to sell storage, to buy and sell things. We wanted a real economy. But the problem with Bitcoin is if the price is going up like 5% a day and the price is skyrocketing, who's going to spend their coins? So you don't want the economy shutting down because the price is going through the roof, so everyone's hoarding. So what we did was we paid people, if you hold one Skycoin for 1 hour, you get 1 coin hour, and that's sort of like gas. So that will be used for transaction fees, our DEX, buying and selling digital items, and running smart contracts, and buying storage, buying bandwidth, buying computation. So we created a parallel currency that people earn just by holding Skycoin. And this currency is designed to be inflationary. So Skycoin has no inflation. It's designed to be a store of value. And then the coin hours are intentionally inflationary to encourage people to spend them. So it's an experiment, basically.
Another way I understand coin hours is, and the way I treat it psychologically, when I first got into Skycoin, I came in as an investor, and one of the coin hours was one of the biggest things. And that is because if you're earning 1 coin hour per Skycoin that you have per hour each day, for every 1 Skycoin, you're earning 24 coin hours per day. So if those coin hours ever do get traded on an exchange, which we do have the intention of listing them on very, very large exchanges very soon, when we do that, these things will have a value. And if you just did some simple math and you said, let's say Skycoin's at $100 a coin, and then let's say we have 10-cent coin hours at that rate, you're looking at nearly 87 or 88% a year in annual interest for holding. You can then trade those coin hours back up to Skycoin. That's the pitch. Yes, it has a technological function of allowing the network to run without burning the Skycoin.
Yeah, it's very
but it can act pragmatically and practically to an individual, like to an investor or a trader. It's going to act like an annual interest, a holding interest, which is just, and those are just hypothetical numbers. It could be 1 cent, it could be 25 cents, they could be $1 a piece. That will obviously change and move with the market. That's determined by the market, but those are just hypothetical numbers. And that's one way to treat it psychologically. Not many other coins are offering that at the moment.
So basically, if I have an ICO and I've got Lark coin on Sky, now essentially my coin wouldn't generate coin hours, but I would need to get coin hours in order to transact. Is that correct?
So my understanding is that any coin that launches on top of Sky Ledger is going to be fundamentally using the blockchain, right? So our fiber technology. So if it's utilizing our fiber technology, then any coin that is running is also going to be earning the equivalent of coin hours and be able to be utilized that exact same thing because it'll be running on a version of our wallet, etc. Everyone will be able to utilize the coin hour mechanism who is utilizing fiber. So Bitcoin had blockchain, right? That's their underlying technology. And that's really what everyone fell in love with. Nobody really knew if Bitcoin got it right. It wasn't scalable. It wasn't eco-friendly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they knew that the underlying technology of a distributed ledger had the power to change the world. And that's still true. So we've improved that technology. We have the best version of that technology that exists on the market today. I'm absolutely sure of it. And it's called fiber. That's what we call it. So a simple analogy would be, if you look at a telephone, think of a telephone line, a simple telephone line, that's going to be the equivalent of your blockchain, right? However, if you have a fiber optics cable, you could have 1,000, you could have 2,000 of those blockchains laying in parallel that can all communicate with one another. And hypothetically, I can scale, I know it sounds like bullshit, but hypothetically to infinity.
Yeah.
Because you just keep laying these things next to each other. No other company offers this in the market today. And this is the underlying technology that we've perfected and that everyone fell in love with that caused Bitcoin to go from 1 cent to $20,000 a coin.
Very interesting.
So Bitcoin can do 6 transactions a second. Ethereum can do 30. Every single one of our blockchains does a minimum of 300 transactions per second. So each one's 10 times as fast as Ethereum. And then we have an infinite number of blockchains in parallel. So your application is going to get your own blockchain with your own transaction rate, and you're not going to have to pay transaction fees to a third party. So since we have each blockchain does this many transactions per second, and we have an infinite number of them, this is a different approach to scaling than side chains or Plasma. So in Plasma, the idea is you're going to have one chain on Ethereum, and then you're going to have side chains with all these side chains. It becomes very complicated. With Fiber, we're actually giving you your own blockchain with your own transaction channel that's running on your own hardware. And what's interesting about our platform is we have a hardware platform for blockchain applications called the Skywire Miner. So you have like 8 computers, and you buy the miner, you plug it in, and you can go into the dashboard and say, deploy blockchain application 3 on node 5, or deploy blockchain application B on node 6. And it's like a sort of a personal cloud for deploying these blockchain applications. So a company can go and buy this box, plug it in, and run their own blockchain application on their own hardware. This is it's a lot different than
hypothetically, any Fortune 500 company who wanted to move into the ICO space, who wanted to move into the coin space, could come to us and utilize the best technology that has been developed up to this point and that is continuing to be developed and improved. I mean, it's secure, scalable, fast, eco-friendly. We've literally solved every problem that Bitcoin offered. Not to mention, we've added every feature that anyone else came up with. So they could come to us. They could literally copy and paste the code and have their own Apple coin, have their own Google coin, have their own Tesla coin. So if you believe, if the world really believes in the power of blockchain, like the price of Bitcoin says they do, then we are the ones. We are the ones who have the best technology on the market, and we have a platform for absolutely anyone, anywhere to launch their own equivalent of not just Bitcoin, but Bitcoin Plus, Bitcoin improved. Bitcoin's broken, we fixed it, and anyone can now utilize that.
This is very funny. So what biggest problem we have now is some guy does an ICO, and then they tell us, okay, we raised $300 million. And then they came back to us, and they said, we're trying to get listed on the exchanges, and they want $5 million. And then they say it's going to take 6 months. Or they want $10 million, and it's going to take 8 months. Or they want $100 million. Or this little exchange is asking 50 BTC for listing, and they have no users and no volume, but they listed on some exchange. So one of the things we're doing with Skyledger is when you launch the coin on our platform with Fiber, we're giving you a mobile wallet, a desktop wallet, multi-coin wallet support, a web wallet, an Explorer, and getting it listed on our own internal exchange. And so when you create your coin, within 30 seconds, it'll be exchange traded, and you're going to have support for the hardware wallet, the web wallet, the desktop wallet, and all of these things are just instant. So this is very. So what we're trying to do is actually, the people come to us and they give us these problems, and we fix them. Is basically this platform. We didn't want to build the platform, but they came to us and they demanded this.
That's what's been happening since Bitcoin came out. I mean, you have the very first push of technology, like you have all throughout history, and then we start thinking, right? And we go, oh shit, we should be able to improve it in this way. We should be able to improve it in this way. We should be able to add this feature, add this feature, add this feature. So if you go on CoinMarketCap, you start scrolling, you're going to see a ton of specialist coins that specialize in specific things. You look at us, you see the Swiss Army knife of the whole thing. We've literally implemented every single piece. And people say, why did it take so long? This is why. This is why.
Well, it takes a while to do everything.
Yeah, in 2012, they immediate, I mean, Synth here was he was an original dev on Bitcoin.
I was fixing the bugs when Bitcoin didn't compile on Linux. I had to fix the bugs on Bitcoin to get it to compile on Linux.
So you're talking to an OG dev here, like an OG dev. So he was there, and you saw, and then our Obelisk white paper, Satoshi knew that part of Bitcoin was broken, and we have a lead developer from Ethereum who wrote our Obelisk white paper and has literally been signed off by Satoshi saying, this is it. This is This is the solution.
The author of the white paper was Chen, and he was actually the first developer on Ethereum. He was he wrote Ethereum basically, and then after Ethereum he left and he did this, and then he went back to his PhD.
So you'll see the very first thing if you go look at our roadmap, and we do have a new website coming out with a new roadmap and everything like that. That's reason enough to buy the coin because it'll go through the roof when that happens. But it's true. The website's looking great. Everything's coming together really well. But if you look at the roadmap, you'll see the very first thing that Synth started working on with his colleagues was, and I wasn't here at that time, I believe it was proof of work and proof of stake, right? Which is the very first thing that Ethereum was started from. So you see immediately they're starting to solve the same problems, The thing they didn't do was focus on branding based on one. Instead, we kept developing. And now we have the whole package. We are the best one on the market.
Now I want to break down some of the features that you guys have, because we're talking about all the features, but if anyone's hearing about you guys for the first time, I think let's break down some of what those features are. So there's so much going on with what you guys are doing. So Skywire is essentially decentralized internet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now for Skywire, you actually have to buy a piece of hardware though to run that, right?
You don't have to buy it. You can do it. You can build a do-it-yourself miner and become a node in that way. Or you can get a miner through us. The miners that you get through us.
Just plug it in and you open up your cell phone app and you'll just start seeing the coins show up. What we don't want, and this is what I do not want, I do not want some guy taking a 4-year-old laptop and running Skywire on his 4-year-old Windows XP laptop, because it'll be slow. So I want dedicated hardware for the network, because people are supposed to be using this, and I just plug in my 4-year-old laptop and I make coins. And I'm like, I don't want your laptop on our network because we're trying to do 10 gigabits a second. We don't want your freaking laptop on our network.
So we're not overcomplicating it by implementing a hardware section of the company. We're not overcomplicating it. We're literally just perfecting Skywire. So if you want a simple breakdown of the thing, the fundamental technology below Skycoin, our equivalent of blockchain, is fiber. This is the equivalent of IOTA's Tangle, except whoever branded IOTA's Tangle is an idiot, because it sounds like your coins are going to get lost, and they do.
Tangle,
and they do.
Tangle, it's like being stuck in a vine.
Right? It doesn't sound good. So that's our underlying tech. On top of that, we have Skycoin. That is the perfected cryptocurrency that is completely scalable, eco-friendly. So we've solved the mining problem. It's completely secure. It's incredibly fast. It's free, just like IOTA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we built all that. So essentially you have fiber as the underlying technology. You have Skycoin as the cryptocurrency. And then you have Skywire as the decentralized internet, where that cryptocurrency is utilized to incentivize individual nodes to build that wireless mesh net. People have tried to build wireless mesh nets in the past, but it hasn't been able to work because a wireless mesh net by nature has to be decentralized. And if that's the case, then you have to be able to incentivize the individual nodes. That hasn't been able to be done until you have cryptocurrency come into place. So wireless mesh networks have, I mean, those have, it's radio. It's radio. It's existed for a very, very long time. Only recently, within the past 3 to 5 years, has it become cheap enough to produce wireless mesh networks. Plus, we've got the network effect happening with cryptocurrencies. These two things coming together, plus the fact that you're hearing this interview right now, puts you in an incredible position to take advantage of something that could be huge. In my opinion, this is going to be bigger than Bitcoin.
Yeah, so it's very interesting because when Bitcoin started, we have the blockchain, and it's what we call a solution in search of a problem, and the closest analogy is the laser. So some scientists figured out how to create like a light that was millions of times brighter than the sun, and they get this working in a research lab, and then they're like, okay, we could do this, but what do we do with it? And it took them 2, 3, 4 decades to figure out the usage of the laser, so that eventually they're like, okay, we can shoot down missiles. Okay, we can make CD players. Okay, we can, they found all these different uses for the laser. Oh, we can use it for dentistry. We can use it for surgery. We can seal wounds. We can sterilize things. There's hundreds of uses of the laser, but it took decades for those applications to come out. So at Sky,
we don't know all the ways that this will be utilized. That's the truth.
What Bitcoin really is it's a demonstration of blockchain as a technology. So then what Skycoin is trying to do is trying to find the actual real use applications of blockchain in the real world. So we're really focused on the decentralized internet, and we're even doing power meters now because we have all these power grid companies asking for blockchain pilots, and we want a blockchain power meter. Can you build us this? So we want to see where blockchain will actually be used in the real world. And I think a lot of these coins are experiments. And in an early stage market like this, 80% of the companies are going to fail because they're experiments. And we're trying to find, so Skywire is just one application, and we're doing other applications. And so so instead of betting the whole house on one thing, putting all the poker chips on one number, we say we're doing this application and this application and this application, and then we're going to see what actually people need and what they use, and over time we're going to keep adding more applications to the platform.
Great.
And consider these applications just tests. They're tests for the technology underlying it. So we have Kitty Cash, which is a very interesting, cool, credible test.
The initial cat offering, the ICO.
People are buying cats for 1, 2, 3 bitcoins.
It's insane. Who's buying cats for that much? It's nuts.
Yeah, I watched an auction the other day just run up. So just don't get overwhelmed by the scope of the project. The scope of the project is only there in order to test the fundamental technology. So we are not scattered. It is not too broad. We are very, very, very focused, and we're doing the hard work that it takes to test such a massive technology, and we'll see. And so far, the tests are working.
So do you know about? So I think the biggest Bitcoin was worthless until you could gamble with it. Then people started doing Bitcoin poker sites and Satoshi Dice, and then Silk Road. But I remember when Bitcoin, they wasn't even an exchange. Mt. Gox didn't exist yet. People were just passing the Bitcoin back and forth like monopoly money. Like, hey, Bob, send me 5,000 Bitcoin. It's like, okay, Steve. And they're like joking and like dropping free, like hundreds of free coins in channels for just people posting memes and things like that. And I remember that. And then Bitcoin got this application called Satoshi Dice. And then people started gambling with Bitcoin, and then it had a price. It's like, oh, I can win money from this. Oh, so I think that gaming on blockchain is going to be the next $1 trillion industry. So we're investing a lot into our application language, CX, and the Kitty Cash and these gaming pilots. Because when I remember the early days of Bitcoin, that was really the first application for Bitcoin was gaming. So we're going all into that area, and we're going to make like 3 or 4 video games as test beds, and we don't even have it working yet, and we have people like hounding us to be like, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do a blockchain poker? Can we do it? And it's just crazy. It's just crazy right now.
We invite developers to come to us and build on top of this whole thing and help us test it, help us scale it. And as they do, holders of Skycoin and coin hours will benefit. It's just going to increase the cost. The price of Skycoin is just going to go up as it happens.
Now,
what we noticed,
you guys have your own language here, by the way. So you've got CX.
Yes.
Why didn't you choose to go with something that's more universal for developers? That's a very commonly used language. Like Lisp, they went with Java, right? So why did you guys choose CX? What's the benefits in using CX?
So the big problem with blockchain applications is everyone wants to do blockchain, but they don't have developers. And the developers who could do like Solidity, they're expensive. There's only a very small number of them, and there's a lot of bugs in their code and a lot of issues. We've created CX to be identical to Golang. So if you're a company like IBM, you have 10,000 Golang developers, you don't have to train them to use CX because it's basically Golang. But there were some problems with Golang, like it wasn't deterministic. There was some issues with like the integer edition being different on different platforms. So there's a slight non-determinism. And if you're doing blockchain scripting, you have to have a deterministic language. So we had to create a new language, but we made sure that the language would be very familiar to Python and Golang developers because we didn't want companies to have to waste months training their developers. So any developer can basically come in on CX and start making video games in 5 minutes or writing blockchain applications, even if they know nothing about blockchain. So that's why we created the new language, was actually to make it easier, not to make it harder.
Awesome. Now you guys are also implementing some kind of privacy features as well.
Oh yeah. So we have there's a thing. ZeroCoin has this thing that allows you to, you have 100 transactions from different wallets and you throw them all into one transaction, and then it shuffles the inputs and the outputs. So you don't know which input is which wallet and which output belongs to what wallet. And people say Bitcoin is anonymous, right? It's not. Every Bitcoin transaction is completely public. And if you look at the inputs to a transaction, if two inputs come from the same, come from two different addresses, you know those two different addresses came from the same wallet. So I can actually scrape all the Bitcoin transactions, and with probability 90%, I can grab all the addresses in your wallet. And this isn't, so Bitcoin was designed in theory to be private and anonymous, but it doesn't actually do that. So G. Maxwell, one of the core Bitcoin developers, developed this thing called CoinJoin. And but you can't do CoinJoin natively in Bitcoin. So we actually designed Skycoin from scratch to be CoinJoin native. You can't tell the difference between a normal transaction and a CoinJoin transaction. And this means if you see two addresses as the input to a transaction in Skycoin, you cannot assume that they're from the same wallet, because we can have transactions from multiple wallets mixed up in the same transaction. Now, ZeroCoin did this in a very interesting way using zero-knowledge proof. And it's slow though. It can it's called Z-Snarks, and it can take 10 minutes or something ridiculous to process a transaction. You don't want to pay $500 in gas on Ethereum to process one Z-Snarks transaction, right?
Right.
So we figured out how to make the CoinJoin transactions identical to normal transactions, so we don't have any complicated math, and it's really simple. And even if the CoinJoin server is hacked, like the worst that happens is the security goes back to being a normal transaction. And we made it so the CoinJoin server can't steal your coins. So that we have a protocol, which I think is the best implementation of CoinJoin that I've seen. I think we should write a research paper about it. I think G. Maxwell should review it. But he's been talking about this for years in Bitcoin, but it's just so hard to get anything done in Bitcoin. You have to push for things for 4 or 5 years, and we could start from scratch with Skycoin. We put all of these features, which were basically the Christmas present list of all the things that the Bitcoin developers were demanding, but couldn't get into Bitcoin because of various reasons.
And if you look through the top 10, you look through the top 20, top 30, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those are probably privacy coins.
Yes.
Vitalik was huge on ZK Snarks that you were just talking about. Vitalik loved that, the fact that they're slow and we're faster. I can't wait until he sees the technology, right? Because that puts us in, literally if you go down the list of cryptocurrencies, you could match every single piece of our technology to each of them. And we are we're competing with Monero then. We're competing with Zcash. Yeah. We're competing with, if you name the privacy coins, we should be able to take market share from those.
I'm not really worried about, there's no real, I don't see it as competitors. I see each company as a social experiment, and they're not really competing. Like, I don't worry, like, oh, this guy's competing with me, or that guy's competing with me, or the competitor did this. What we ask is, what do our users want? Like, what are people asking us for? And what is the best way to do this? And if we see a better solution, we're going to switch over to that. And regardless of, so we're not actually like, oh, our competitor did this, so we have to respond. We're just asking the users and the companies what features they need for their applications and just implementing them. So I really don't. This is really driven by need. It's not driven like they ask us.
It's a
like
minimum.
Say,
it's a minimum viable product.
This.
It's the same thing Instagram did. You offer the base product, and then that's why people say, why is it taking 6 years? We're adding. We are developing the best thing. That's why. So we started with a minimal viable product, and we're just adding what people need and perfecting it over time.
It was one thing that was interesting for me when I did my review on Skycoin a while ago. I go through each different feature and say, okay, well, we're doing decentralized internet, so it's like MaidSafe or Nexus, or we're doing privacy features, or we're doing storage as well, so maybe it's like Skycoin or something like that, or we're doing a social network, right? So maybe we're bringing some kind of Steemit-like ideas, and all this stuff just comes in. It's like you said, it's the Swiss Army knife of cryptocurrency. You guys are trying to bring all these different things together, and it's taken years of development. So anyone who hasn't heard about Skycoin, this is the backstory. This is not just some ICO that's popped up 6 months ago. This is something that's been in development for years of,
and they're not out of left or right field. They're very natural successions on top of each other. It's very simple to implement. Once you get the first part right, the second part's easy to come. The third part's easy too. Fourth, fifth, sixth, and the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th section parts will be easy for us to implement too, because we have the first 12 right? So I really think we can take over this market. I'm shooting to be a top 10 coin in the next very quickly. I think we have the capability of doing it. I think we have the best technology on the market.
So what's very interesting, the way we develop things, like we did a Steemit prototype, and we have it, it works. It's like 4chan on blockchain, or it's a decentralized 4chan, but that's not front and center, because what we found out in marketing, if we have 30 projects, when we do a marketing push, the public can only understand one or two things at a time. So like this month, and the next 6 months is Skywire. And we have this social network thing in the background, but we don't talk about it. But in 4 months, if social networking on blockchain is the big thing, we're going to put 30 developers on that, and we're going to build a full application out, and we're going to push it. But this is really a demo. So we have the demo for the video games, demo for messaging apps, demo for the social media, demo for these power grid things. And then when the time is ready, we already have it in development for 2 years. And we say, okay, launch it. And then we throw in all the hard work, the technical stuff is already done. And at that point, it's just polishing it and fixing bugs and marketing it and creating narratives and doing interviews. So we have a lot of, we even have secret projects like the SkyMiner, that platform, the sort of personal cloud for blockchain applications. That was in development in secret for 2 or 3 years. And then it's like, okay, it's ready, launch it. And then we send it out there and we start shipping hundreds of units. It wasn't like, we didn't ask people, give us your money, give us a Bitcoin, and we'll send you this in 4 years. We said, it's here now, here's the boxes, you buy it, we ship it out tomorrow. We're not selling things that aren't, every single product that we are announcing is already in a prototyping stage or is ready to launch today. The development started 2 years ago. So it's a lot different than saying, give me $100 million and we'll build this thing in 6 years. Like, we've already built it, we're launching it, and it's ready now. So that's a big difference from our marketing approach, rather than saying like, well, Plasma will be ready in 6 years. It's just like this market is moving so fast that people are getting really impatient, I think.
Yeah, like, people want to say, if Skycoin has the best tech, why is it, I don't know what we're at on CoinMarketCap right now. Like,
it's like 130. I don't know what this thing's going to be at when it pops.
The reason is because a mind like Brandon's, who could come up with all of this stuff, work out all of this stuff. It's not my mind. I could not have done this.
It's not just me. It's like 85 people. Like, I don't manage all these.
Right. Those minds are the minds that think like that are not the minds that communicate with your everyday individual and show and can easily show them why it will matter, why it will be effective. So you say, why is it at 130? It's because we have the best tech. And it's because we have the
We had
best
no marketing
technicians, we
team.
have the best developers. They didn't have they were just building it. They were just building it. So the truth is, I mean, within the past 2 or 3 months since I've gotten here, we've just started heavily marketing. We're scaling that out. And so, I mean, that alone is reason enough to think the price should pop.
So yeah, it's just a matter of time, right? As the marketing starts and people start to become aware of it, this is Bitcoin's big thing. Brand awareness is through the roof, and others are catching on. Neo and Ethereum all have good brand awareness, and so it's actually when Skycoin has that brand awareness to even similar levels of some of those top 10 projects, well, that's when we'll see the ranking follow, of course.
Yeah, especially if you couple that literally with the best technology on the market.
But one of the things I worry about is it's very funny. There was this guy, he bought Skycoin and he held it for 2 years. And then the price wasn't moving, and he's like, I'm sick of this. I'm selling all my Skycoin. And he goes on Twitter and he announced he's selling his Skycoin. He sells all his Skycoin. And then the week later, the price went up from like $2, and it was like at $50 or something, like a month later. And he's like, wants to jump out of, and he doesn't like say, "Oh, I made a mistake," and he's just angry, like, "I hate Skycoin even more." Blah blah blah. And it's really funny because I don't like the price goes up and it goes down, and when it does that, I always like these whales like to play this game where they do the yo-yo, right? The roller coaster, and they move it up, and all these people come in, and they drop it, and they're like crying, like, oh my god, and then they sell, and then after everyone's selling, then they run it up again, and then so it's very funny. But when Skycoin gets listed on these huge exchanges, like these exchanges have like 8 million users now, and they only had 1 million users a few months ago. I don't want to talk about specific names. I don't know if I get in trouble, but the user base of some of these exchanges increased 8x in 3 months. Their tech team is under so much. They're buried. Like they were telling us they can't give us listing dates. They don't know. These coins will pay them, and you have to wait 6 or 8 months now to get integrated because all of their tech team is just dealing with the scaling issues. So we're in line. And before, I remember the coins would pop 15x. Remember Byte Balls went from like 10 cents to $800 in like 2 months, and I'm like, wow, what the hell? Because as the blockchain market expands and it gets harder to get listed on these exchanges, what happens now is you have the coins are the same size. They start like 20 million, 100 million. Then they get listed on an exchange, and what we're seeing now, since there's so many people on the exchange, instead of going from like 1 million or 20 million to like 500 million, these coins are popping from 100 million up to 15 billion, 8 billion, 5 billion. We're going to see coins popping to $60 billion soon. Like if you see like Iota and Cardano and like Tron, they get listed on 3 exchanges and the price is going into the billions. We're going to see and it's just getting worse. My personal feeling is when these exchanges have 10 or 20 million users and you see the floodgates open so that these 10 million people can buy that coin, the price is just gonna be ridiculous.
This is a problem across the industry too. I mean, these exchanges they know how much power they have because they have such a large user base. Yeah. And so they charge coins out the ass in order
$20 million.
And so we even have a solution coming for that. We have a thing called OTC pass-through. That is on the way. So essentially, you're going to be able to go to Skycoin.net. If you're interested in what we're offering, you can literally click buy Skycoin in the same way you could buy an ebook. You know what I'm saying?
That's so needed.
And it will actually transfer the order straight to an exchange instead of pulling out of an ICO, like an ICO. It's not going to pull out of the original wallet or anything like that, or undistributed Skycoin. It's going to be buying from the order book on the cheapest exchange. If you understand a little bit of economics, you know what that means. It's going to go through the roof. It's going to go through the roof.
People like Exodus because it supports like 120 coins. So we're working on a multi-coin API and a DEX, and we're going to integrate everything within one ecosystem. So you're going to be able to switch coins in the wallet with 0 fees. So Exodus is I love Exodus. It's a very beautiful wallet. They had like the Louis Vuitton designer, great functionality. But when you're trading all these coins back and forth, and they're taking 1% on every transaction, you're losing like 20% of your portfolio every month.
Yeah,
so even though the price is So the zero fees on our multi-wallet and the ability to swap the coins, that's going to be amazing. I'm really I've been wanting to do that now for 4 years, and we finally hired the developers to start working on that. And I just want to see it done. I don't want to market it. I just want to actually get it implemented because I want to use it. Like there's coins that I wanted to buy, but it's like I don't want to register for 14 exchanges to have this little exchange and deal with the withdrawal limits and yeah.
So we're solving very, very fundamental problems in the industry. I mean, every single coin is facing this issue who isn't listed on Coinbase, and we all know there's only 4 of those. So we're solving big issues here, and as a result, I think we all know what should happen.
Now, hey, I was looking through your team list, and one of the people I saw on there, Patrick Dye from Qtum.
Yeah.
What's he doing in the mix here? How'd he get there? What's going on with him?
Okay, so Patrick was one of the before Patrick did Qtum. I was actually working out of Patrick's office for 1 year, so I know him very well. He was he's not. I don't know if he's an advisor because he is so busy. He's working like 120 hours a week. Like we've been trying to meet up for like 4 months now, and he's just so busy. And the only thing he could respond is send me a Sky Miner. And there's the only message I get back from him. And we asked him but anyway, so I think he agreed to be on the advisor board for the Sky Miner, but he's really too busy. They're launching satellites. Qtum's launching freaking satellites. So but anyways, he's one of the largest investors in Skycoin. He invested in Skycoin before he did Qtum. And before Qtum, he did a company called ShellPay. And then before that, I think there was a company, BitBay. So he's one of the very experienced blockchain people. Like this is his 4th blockchain that Patrick's launched. And he's friends with the Chinese mining pools. So then the Chinese mining pools are asking Patrick, yo, can you get us 150 Sky Miners? We're like, one big because they asked us, we say no. So maybe Patrick can get them for us. You know, because one of his friends runs this mining pool in Chengdu. I went there and it's just massive. It's ridiculous. They have like 8 floors and every floor is full of these shelves with the miners. And they have these huge fans that are like 10 feet wide that blow air through, but there's leaves that blow in and get stuck in the miners, and the miner fails because of the fan. So then they have like these huge nets to catch the leaves for the. And anyways,
tough problem to have.
Yeah. So Patrick is very close to us, but there's politics in China. We have different advisors. One of them is this investor in Alibaba. Or what was that? I think Alibaba and some Chinese telecom company. She's a big telecom investor, and she doesn't have a good reputation in the altcoin community, but she's powerful in the government and for business development. And then she screwed over Patrick, and then this happened. And there's drama, and Patrick's girlfriend doesn't like this investor and doesn't want to.
Oh my gosh!
And then this exchange won't list us because they're friends with Patrick, and they think we're friends with her, and then they think Patrick's fighting with her because Patrick's girlfriend doesn't like. And so we it's in China. There's like 12 blockchain people, and they all know each other, and each one only talks to like 4 other people. Basically, the blockchain industry, it's a very small world. There's only 20 of us developers. There's like 20 of us. It's literally, we all know each other, and there's a lot of like drama. And I think some of the people are fighting with each other, especially and I'm probably the only one that isn't fighting with everyone. That isn't fighting with any of them. They're all friends with me, but they're fighting. So A and B are both friends with me, but A and B are fighting. And they want me to take sides. I'm like, nah. So I sort of babysit the kindergarten is what I in my job description. I'm like chief cat herder. And so it's really weird. Like we had like this guy, like we have John Clippinger is now on our advisor board. He's an MIT Media Lab professor. So we're doing like some project with them, and we might do like a partnership, or we're going to do a hardware incubator. We're doing we're getting some people from the telecom industry who did mesh networks and so on to come onto our advisor board, and we're negotiating that now. Some big players. We have a lot of weird people. Like there was some guy, he was like Goldman Sachs, like head of blockchain innovation, and like he wants to invest $2 million, but he can't because it's like his job is researching all the cryptos, so they're fund or something, but he can't invest because it would be a conflict of interest. But everyone's making so much money on blockchain that everyone's investing inside their own company, but they're not supposed to. So it's like he's trying to like give me like $2 million through like some other guy. So it's like I know it's him investing, but he gives the money to some other guy and puts him in the chat room. And then he has to ask me because he can't invest because of conflict of interest. or yes, invest, but don't tell anyone I invested because I don't want to, because I invested in this competitor and I'm on their advisor board and they're fighting with you, but we did their marketing. And so it's very funny because there's like 5 people and they're all on like every competitor, or this investor comes in and says, I put $10 million in this project, but I don't really like it. And we like your thing better, but don't tell anyone I said that because they're paying me this much money to do the marketing for, or one guy said like, I bought this coin and I made $100 million, but I hate the coin. And I'm like, what? And I'm like,
why'd you buy it?
It's a really, yeah. And I'm like, to make money. But he's like this. He's like, and so it's very, oh my God, it's like a high school. It feels like you're in high school again because or like everyone knows everyone else, and so it's very interesting, and so.
It's a crazy situation. It's a crazy situation.
Yeah.
Hey, anyway, let's move on. So I want to talk about ICOs. I know we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I really want to dive into it. ICOs on Skycoin. Why should someone build on Skycoin, and how would the process feel different for them building on Skycoin?
So basically, we have a script now for launching coins. So if you have a developer, he just reads the README, he launches his coins, you message us, you give us your ticker, we validate your ticker, we have to make sure there's no conflicts. Then we add your Genesis block and your chain to our platform, and then suddenly your coin will be in every Skycoin wallet because it's a multi-wallet, and you'll have hardware wallet support, and you'll be instantly listed on the exchange if you want. So people will immediately be able to exchange Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, Quantum, Arc, Lisk, all these 40 coins to buy your coin. And eventually they'll even be able to spend the coin. We have a feature. This is one of our big features called Spend Bitcoin. You'll be able to basically send Skycoin or any of these coins to a Bitcoin address. So if you want to hold Lisk or you want to hold Arc or you want to hold Qtum, but you want to pay people in Bitcoin, on our back end, it sends our server the coins and it sends the person the Bitcoin. So we have send to Bitcoin. So we're working on these interoperability projects on the hardware wallet, the mobile wallet. We're working on, we have a secret, I shouldn't talk about this yet, but it's not announced yet, but there's a POS system that we're developing. Like they're asking us, when can someone buy coffee with Skycoin? And they can buy coffee with Skycoin when the freaking POS system is done.
That's great.
And near field communication, like we want to be able to put the coins on a USB stick and swipe the stick and it says pay $3 and you hit a button. Yes, pay him $3. And it's just one button. Yes. And you swipe it, you look at the thing and hit the button. And we want to get the hardware wallet down to $20. So a Trezor is still $100, and we want to get the hardware wallet cost down to $10 or $20. And that is our beat, and it's going to take a lot of work. We can get to 20 right now, and I think eventually we can get down to 10. That's the threshold when people will be carrying coins around them in their wallet and spending them day to day. That's when you can walk into a Starbucks and start just buying coins. And spending coins and buying
makes us the Square or the Stripe as well.
Yeah, yeah, we have another company.
Which is when you're investing or if you buy Skycoin, it's not the same as buying Bitcoin or something like that. That's just like project that is a cryptocurrency that had some developers behind it that's now just running. You know what I'm saying? You're investing in a legitimate business at this point with a hardware aspect with. It's a good deal compared to the other coins on the market, in my opinion.
How long until Skycoin can make my breakfast? It's
Robots?
coming.
You want robots? We'll build some robots. IoT, actually, we are doing some IoT pilot projects like power grid, sensors. Like if you have your Sky miners, why can't we hook up cameras and have your security footage for your house on Skywire with the mesh net and upload it to and those are demos. Like if you want to do a project like that, I don't do it. I go and some guy says, I want to do this. I'm like, here's $100,000, hire 5 developers, go do it. And good luck. We don't actually, honestly, I can't even keep track of the ICOs. People ask me like, what ICOs? And I keep forgetting their names. Because there's so many people. I'm like, who is that guy? Like, I met the same guy 3 times.
Yeah.
And
so
I
our
remember.
ICO platform is called Sky Ledger, and we have a whole Sky Ledger team.
It's completely separate development team.
Executes everything on sort of in an outsourced way for these people. So if somebody wants to launch a coin, they come to us. They can get everything from marketing to development, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it is a complete package. And again, as these individuals come and launch on Sky Ledger, it positively affects the price of Skycoin.
So like Consensus has 250 people, but they have 10,000 people on their platform, and we're more doing a more bespoke, personalized thing. So we have our own marketing firm, and instead of and this is the problem in blockchain marketing is you hire a firm, you give them $2 million, they'll take $2 million from 10 companies, and they'll give you one guy part time who will spend like 10 hours a week pumping your coin.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, and we're trying to say, like, here's your marketing team, here's your 4 full-time guys, here's your social media, and actually have full-time people. We don't, and they're complaining to us about this. So, okay, we'll help you hire your thing, we'll help you manage them, we'll get your Kanban board set up, we'll get you your developers, and the thing is, these people are coming to us and just demanding this. They're saying, we want this. Give it to us now. Give it to us now. And they're going to every single company asking for the same things. And they're going with the people that can give them what they're asking for, basically. And so we didn't actually want to take on a lot of these projects, but they're just hounding us and they're breaking down our door and just, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, we could do it. But okay, do it. Can you do it for me? Can you do it for me? Please do it. I need it now. And I'm like... So
great.
We have this problem of not saying no to a lot of these companies.
It's a better problem to have people coming to too much business than too little is definitely
especially if each of the projects positively affect the price of Skycoin. When they come on, the price of Skycoin goes up.
Absolutely. Now,
so we didn't want to do the POS system, but they're like, we need to take payments in the store. We need this. For our coin needs this. But then if we do it for one coin, then it works for all the coins. So that's really the advantage, is if we can get it working for one coin, we then deploy it for all the other coins. So we're actually a consortium with 30 separate coins, and it's like SPACO or SPO does the exchanges and the OTC, and then once they have that working, we then deploy it for the other 30 coins. So
I'm pretty sure we actually have people in Germany who are accepting Skycoin for coffee, exactly.
And like sandwiches and leather jackets, and we have a leather jacket warehouse, and that in Los Angeles, and
if
Shopify
Amazon come to us and say, hey, we want to launch a coin specifically for Amazon, they could do it. Awesome. And in my opinion, we have the best technology in order for them to do that. So if they actually research who should we get, who should we hire in order to create the Amazon coin, or Facebook, we've heard rumor of Facebook implementing Litecoin or something, but that was like 6 months ago or something like that. If Facebook wanted to develop their own coin, they could come to us and we would be happy to do it for them. And if they did that, even if it was called Facebook coin, if it runs on top of Skywire nodes, then it's going to positively increase the price of Skycoin.
Now, guys, final question here for you. What can we expect moving forward in 2018? What are the big milestones we're watching out for? What are the big projects that are in development? What can people expect?
One thing is we have a marketing team. We didn't have a marketing team before. So you're going to see Skycoin and a lot more media outlets and a lot more media partnerships. And we're going to do a lot more like university sponsorships, sponsoring graduate students.
I'm going to be at 6 or 7 conferences over the next 2 to 3 months, all around the globe, keynoting regarding this stuff with full video production, photography team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that will be very active. Our marketing is scaling in every regard. We have a team of over 100 dedicated people.
It's at least 100. I can't count them.
Huge PR campaigns. We're doing a lot in regard to marketing, but beyond that, you've got a new website coming up in
I like the new website a lot.
The new website is absolutely beautiful. It will the close rate on that thing will increase ×2, if not 3. And so we got a new website. We have a mobile wallet coming out, updates to the desktop.
That's a big thing.
We have OTC pass-through inside of the mobile wallet, so people can literally buy more Skycoin right there.
Great.
These things alone are pretty huge.
But then we have Skywire. So there's people that are asking, when can you get this done? When are we getting blockchain poker? When are we? And we have to launch Skywire. Like all that we ship the Sky miners, but we're still behind on the software, and we say April, but everything always takes longer in the US. I hate like telling them it's gonna be done in April because it'll mostly be working in April, but then there's always like 50 bugs you have to fix and maintenance. But we're pushing that out, so it's gonna take all of our resources just to get it working. And then the problem is so many people are already building DIY miners. They have like 1,000 miners ready to connect to the network, and we're like, oh my god, if they connect all of them at once, the network's gonna collapse because we didn't scale the messaging protocol and we didn't. So we're launching these things. And that as fast as we can. And so this year, I want to get the hardware wallet out. I want to get the Skywire Miner platform. I want people using it. I want Sky Messenger, this is our messaging app, working. I want our mobile app working. I want to see larger exchange listings. And then I want the launch of the Skyledger platform. And I want our hardware incubator running because we're going to need next year. We're going to be pushing out a lot of hardware projects, and if we want to do that, we have to have the people hired and working. It takes a year. So the seeds we plant now are going to be being launched in 1 year. We're not like a lot of the other coins where we do the thing and then we market it. We don't raise $100 billion on an ICO and then say we're going to have this thing in 6 years. We are only marketing stuff that is already working and is ready to launch. And the thing we don't want is to go into a market and then everyone. Basically, as soon as we announce something, 20 other coins copy us. We did Sleeping Giant. Like, Skycoin is a sleeping giant. Then IOTA says, 3 months later, IOTA is a sleeping giant. We did third-generation cryptocurrency. Then
Aeon.
Yeah, Aeon copied it. But before Aeon copied it, there's another one that copied it. And then even Quantum, which Patrick's one of my friends, and he copies our marketing too. He's sort of guilty about that. So it's very funny because whenever we announce, and we announced like the Sky Miner, and then that other coin, what is that? The other mesh, the right mesh or the whatever the hell. Then they're like, oh, we're doing that. We're going to do Raspberry Pis too. And so whatever we do, 3 months later, all to announce that they're doing the same thing.
Nobody else who copies us though has the fundamental technology. Nobody else
working. They don't have it working, but it sounds great.
We're the only ones with fiber, so everybody else is literally just ripping off the top layer. And we have that fundamental 6 years behind us. But in my opinion, like a reason enough to buy, would be, and I can't mention names, but contracts are in place. In regard to
we signed all the exchanges, but we're just waiting for the freaking technical backlog. Ridiculous.
I used to be a trader, you know what I'm saying, and so I understand what an exchange means to the price of something. So that alone, I mean, if you're looking for developments that may push this thing where we want it to go, again, we can't mention names, but contracts have been signed, and at this point, it's just a waiting game between us and their development team. If they don't
list us soon, I'm gonna build my own exchange and kill them. I'm not. Like, your exchange sucks.
Well, you know the old saying: if you can't get on them, build something and crush them.
Yep.
Something like that.
Like, our Jackson's better. Yours is too slow. You're like,
awesome.
Remember Binance? They said they raised the money, the ICO, and they tried to do the DEX, and then it didn't work. And they're like, okay, we're just going to build an exchange, and they did pretty well on that, and they have a really good exchange. I like it. But I think in the next year, we're actually going to see working DEX. So and those decentralized exchanges are going to eat the lunch of a lot of, and so whatever platform has the best DEX is going to be the one that all of these millions of users shift to, because the listing fees, if I want to buy a new coin, I don't want to wait 8 months before it's on some exchange. You have to pay millions of dollars now and wait up to 8 months. They wouldn't even give you the listing date. And then they told us, you're lucky we're going to agree to list you at all because there's 3,000 coins waiting in line. And I'm like, what? Like, you could raise $500 million today and you're not getting on an exchange for 6 or 8 months. And it's really killing the ICO market. So if you have a platform that can list the coin in hours instead of waiting 8 months, all of the users are going to go to that platform to buy that coin. And the DEX doesn't have the legal issues. Like, you have to do all this legal stuff now with your coin. The DEX, your coin will just launch. You don't have to worry about the SEC. There's no one to sue. And it's going to smooth out the onboarding process. And it's going to make blockchain even faster. It's going to be growing even faster, and it'll be even easier to use. So we're right now, because we have to work with the exchanges, we're doing that, and we're using it for marketing. But the long-term vision is by next year, by the start of next year, we really want to have the DEX technology mature and ready to go, because we think that's going to be the next big thing.
Absolutely.
So in summary, just to sort of sum it up, I mean, we really believe that our underlying technology, fiber, is the most scalable on the market. Skycoin is the and the fastest. Skycoin, we think in general, is literally the best cryptocurrency on the market. And then beyond that, we're building a thing called Skywire, which is literally the decentralized internet.
But
and
technology,
I mean, there have been shows about this. Silicon Valley on HBO was literally about us. Right.
I think we paid I think we paid the producer of Silicon Valley like $100,000 or something. Like we had some. I'm looking at this like who's that guy? Oh, he's the producer for Silicon Valley. I'm like, what?
Yeah, like, we're building that. Those are the primary pieces to the puzzle, and that in tandem with everything we just mentioned regarding website marketing, OTC, wallet, new exchanges, etc. Things are looking good. We can just say that.
That's awesome.
So we talk about the technology, but it doesn't actually matter. Look at Dogecoin. The most important thing for a coin is your user community. When I look at the coins, I don't just look at the technology. I look at the user community. How good is the user community? Are they willing to go out there and put antennas on the roof? Are they active? Are they producing content? Are they excited? Are they engaged? Are they just saying, is it going to moon? Is it mooning? When am I getting my Lambo? Is it and we actually have one of the best user communities. It feels like the user community is actually the strongest point about Skycoin. It is not the technology necessarily. The technology is a result of our user community. It's not because that's not me developing these 150. I don't develop 150 projects. People think I do that, and they think I'm like it's actually, it would be possible. It's actually our community is driving all of this innovation. They're saying, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And we enable the user community, and the user community enables us to do these projects. So we're trying to, and you saw that same thing with Ethereum. Like Ethereum is not, they don't have the best technology. They don't have the best consensus startup. They don't have the best developers. They don't even have the best marketing, but their user community is the strongest user community. They have the most applications, the most people, the best conferences. They have the, it's just really amazing what they built. So if you're looking just at the technology, you're missing 90% of the picture.
And also, we encourage you then to get involved in our community. There is space to get involved. If you have ideas, if you have things to contribute, we want you in there. We want you helping, and we know that the project will grow in an incredible number of ways as a result of having that many minds and that much involvement from different aspects.
This is, people get depressed when they see the price go down. It goes down. I'm like, buy more. It's crashing. Buy more.
That's it.
And
this has buy the dip, guys. Buy the dip.
This has happened all over 8 years.
And what I see is people are obsessed about the prices of these coins. And I don't look at the price. I don't care what the price is. And people complain and moan. And I'm just like, stop whining. You're whining. Stop whining. And if you're looking at the price every day, you're gonna have a heart attack. What I look at is the community. I look at the team. I look at what they're doing, because at the end of the day, the fundamentals are the community, the technology, and how fast they're growing. The community is growing is what's going to drive adoption. So you could have, if the fundamentals are there, if you have applications, if you have people using it, if they're doing it in the real world, that coin is going to win. And whether it takes a year or 2 years or 3 years, or whether it gets listed on the huge exchanges next month or tomorrow, or a year from now, or even 2 years, it doesn't affect the fact about the fundamentals. So people look at the price and they think if the price is good, that the coin is winning. And that's not actually true. The price is a leading indicator. I know from 8 years of this that if the community size doubles, that the price is going to double. And it could take 3 or 4 months between when the community size explodes to when the price doubles. It's not an immediate effect. So people are during that whole 2 months, the community is growing 5% per day. They go from 1,000 people to 10,000 people, and the whole time everyone just whining about the price. And then they sell their coins, and the price shoots to the freaking roof like 50x, and they want to jump out of a window. And I keep telling them, stop looking at the price. Look at the fundamentals.
My introduction to this market was a trader, and I mean, when I look at the chart right now, I see buy,
That's it, guys. Awesome, guys. This has been a really interesting chat. I think anyone who hasn't heard about Sky has got just a great concept of it, and you know, I think everyone who's been watching the space, I think, also learned a lot today. So I want to thank you guys so much for, you know, taking a little bit of time out of your trip and sitting down to talk with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.